welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Relly. I am a queer disabled YA author, and my debut novel, There's a Badge for That, comes out May 23rd. This is the third time I've tried to film this video, so that probably tells you everything you need to know about how I'm functioning today. I don't think I talked about this on the channel at all because I've been a bit more private about my health and personal stuff recently. I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and since being medicated, I have noticed a world of difference. Love that for me. Wish that I'd known 38 years ago. But I definitely still am having days where I feel like I didn't take my medication this morning, even though I did. And today is one of those days, so you'll just have to bear with me. I am on a time crunch because this video has to go up tomorrow. I was supposed to be filming a vlog last week, and then my life plans changed and filming the vlog wasn't possible, and now here I am a day before the video has to go up. But I'm doing better than last week where I filmed the morning of the day the video had to go up. So anyways, let's get into it. I want to talk a little bit about what I've been up to with There's a Badge for That, and specifically talk a little bit about the behind the scenes stuff with Ingram, some of the decisions I've made, some of the things I've learned, just to help out anyone else who is coming up to this place in their journey. I know there are tons of authors on here who have published 2, 6, 12, 20 books already who can give you all the advice in the world. I want to speak to you as a Canadian, number one, because it's different for us, and as someone who is newly going through this in 2025 for 2, because a lot of those authors started with a very different reality in terms of self-publishing, and I think that if they were to go back and do it again for the first time, things would be very different, and maybe they would do things differently and whatever. So I want to speak a little bit about that. I'm not going to get too into the nitty gritty. I don't have visuals. I'm so sorry. This is just what it is today, but I hope you will find something in this video helpful if you are an upcoming Canadian indie author and you are trying to decide between Ingram and KDP, or you've already made that decision, and I just want to give you these couple of tidbits of information. There are a million people on the internet who will tell you don't list your ebooks with Ingram, and if at all possible, publish direct wherever you can. I agree to a point. There is obviously a benefit monetarily to doing it that way. Ingram takes a bigger cut. You get less payout. I get that. I want to give you permission, not that you need it, not that you asked for it, to do what is easiest for you. And I went back and forth a million times about this, and as much as, yes, I'd like to make money, I'm a disabled human who can't work. My partner is supporting a family of 5 and 10 animals and a mortgage and all the things on one income. Yes, I would like to bring money in, but having to manage metadata, logins, back matter updates when I publish my next book, all of those things, in like a dozen different websites with different rules and different processing times and everything. Nope, I cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot. I really debated doing the ebooks separately because you make way more money. But then I was running up against an issue of, I want to use my own ISBNs, and thankfully in Canada they're free. But I didn't want every website to be using a different ISBN for the ebook. I didn't want to have Goodreads have like 12 versions of the book listed. It was all way too much for my brain to even process, and maybe there's a way around that and I didn't do enough research, but it just sounded like too much. And whether I'm making $1.50 a book or $3 a book or $4.50 a book, like, it was not worth the mental anguish to me. And that may be totally different for you. You may be an author with different goals. You may be an author who's not disabled with multiple chronic illnesses and multiple mental illnesses and neurodivergence and homeschooling 3 children and you know, like, you may be in a totally different situation, and I get that. And I love that for you. I just wanted to let you know that if you don't have the mental capacity to be managing all of those moving parts and it feels way too overwhelming for you, don't. Just don't. So that's the decision I made. I uploaded everything to Ingram. I set everything to wide distribution. Done. It was so easy. Am I going to make less money? Yes. Am I being an author to get famous or rich or no? Because you know what, at this point, whether I bring in an extra $5 a month or an extra $500 a month, it's all gravy for me at this point. And maybe in the future, when I've, you know, been to this rodeo a handful of times and have a better grasp on things, maybe I would make different decisions. But for me right now, this was the most important thing, that it was simple and straightforward and easy to manage, and that was the most important part for me. So that's the decision I made. And if that sounds like what you want to do, please do that. Don't make your life any harder than it needs to be, unless you really need that extra $1 per book or $2 per book or whatever it works out to be for you. Then maybe that's something you need to consider. So I just wanted to get that off my chest first and foremost, because I felt like I was doing something wrong reading all these posts. And I don't want you to feel that way, because I think a lot of us are struggling with a lot of similar things to me, and just make it easy. Unless you absolutely are counting on that extra $1 a book or whatever, just make it easier on yourself. That may be a controversial take in indie publishing, sorry. So with that in mind, I went with Ingram for everything, wide distribution on print and ebook. And here are a couple things that I ran into that you should be aware of. If you're wanting to get your book into Indigo chapters in Canada, you have to put it at a 55% wholesale discount. That is direct from their website. And that for me, despite the fact that I would prefer to support indie stores in my shopping, I grew up wandering the aisles of chapters, now Indigo in most places. I grew up wandering the aisles of chapters, and that was the most important place for me to see my book on the shelves. So you have to do a 55% wholesale discount. I didn't look into the Barnes & Noble rules about this. I assume it's the same. You can double check that. It may not be. They may have a 40 or a 45 or a 50% minimum. I just assumed it was the same. So I put the US and Canada to 55%, and I put all the other areas to whatever the minimum was, just because I don't think anyone's going to bring my books into their stores anyway in anywhere other than probably Canada. Just keep that in mind. And when you are using Ingram, it takes a week for your prices and percentages to update. So I made the mistake of setting lower percentages before I actually did that research. So now I can't go to the bookstores to pitch myself and my book until those percentages hit, which is not until this Friday coming. So just keep that in mind. If you did make a mistake and you want to go change it, just make sure you wait the week. And that's when the percentage change takes effect on Ingram. So I'm not sure, it might even take a couple days beyond that to hit the actual seller's system. I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know if once Ingram does it, it's instant, or if it's like releasing the book where Ingram does it and then the book will end up on the websites at varying times depending on how quickly their system works on their end. I don't know. So that's my number one tip. And my number two tip is, while I was doing that research, I learned that Chapters Indigo also will not put your book on their shelves if it doesn't have a Canadian price on the cover. So originally I had thought for some reason that Ingram would put the price on the cover because I know they put the barcode, or they can put the barcode on the cover. So I didn't even think about it. And then when my e-proof came back, I realized that my cover didn't have a price, and it specifically said in the notes to like make sure that the cover price is the same as the price that you set in the system. And my cover didn't have a price. So then I had to go back to my cover designer and say, hey, can you add this for me real quick a minute? So I ended up putting the Canadian and the US price on there. I think that's pretty common in Canada, probably also in the US. So that made the most sense to me. Make sure you do that. Otherwise, bookstores may say, no, thank you. Yeah, so those are the things that I learned that I didn't already know. And in terms of what is coming up next for There's a Badge for That, I've been working my way through my list, and my book got shipped this morning, like my author proof copy. And I don't know if Ingram maybe added a Toronto area printer, because it shipped this morning. It said it's coming from Etobicoke, which is just west of Toronto. So I feel like they must have added a printer there, which is amazing, because if it's actually coming from Etobicoke and via Pure Later, I might have it like tomorrow or the next day, which is very cool. And then when I go to the stores to pitch myself, I can actually show them the physical book, which I think will make such a difference. So that's very cool. Very excited about that. I cannot wait to hold it. So my video next week is going to be me unboxing my book. So exciting. It's going to be super anticlimactic because I only ordered one because they specifically said on the website to do that, because if there's anything wrong with it, like, you don't want to have paid extra on the books. I also did the rush printing so that the book would hopefully get here this week, which is an extra like $1.50 per book. And then obviously your shipping amount goes up based on weight or whatever. So I didn't want to pay a bunch of extra money and then have there be something with the printed editions and then have these books that were not great. And yeah, so I only ordered one. So it's not going to be a super fun, like, giant box of books that I'm unboxing, but I'm still very excited to film that. I can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait to see it. Like, childhood dream coming true, right? To hold my book in my hands for the first time. So that's what you can look forward to next week. I'm super excited to film that. And yeah, so the book is on its way here. My next step besides marketing is to go to all the bookstores here and try and get them to order it in. There are other ways I can get it on the shelf. If they don't want to order it in, I can do consignment. I know Chapters Indigo does that. I'm not sure about the local stores here, but they are all run by really incredible humans. So I'm sure I will be able to get it on the shelf in some way or another. And my cat apparently is unbearably itchy, and I have stopped this video like 14 times because she's jingling her collar. Can I help you? Come here, let me scratch you while I talk. Okay, are you super itchy? This is Willow. It's that time of year, right? They're starting to shed for spring and stuff. And the heat's on and it dries them out, and then the heat's off and then the heat's on, and yeah, she's definitely a little dandruffy. Yes, I need to go to the stores. And then I also need to go to the library. I have a friend, I think I talked about this in another video. I have a friend who works at the library here. She's gonna make sure that the book gets brought in, but I still wanna go and like introduce myself and, you know, show them the physical copy and whatever, just so they can put a name to a face and know that we have library cards there and we visit the library and we use their services and whatever. I'm not just some random person trying to get a favor. Yeah, bookstores, library, and marketing. Marketing is like the bane of my existence. I talked about this last week. I know I need to get on the short form content. It's just so overwhelming for me. I did make a list yesterday of ideas, so I have like a starting point now, and I'm going to try to work on that. Not today because my day is packed, but hopefully tomorrow I can fit that in. I need to do it. I wish I had the money to pay my sweet friend who does marketing to just do it for me, but I don't. So alas, here I am needing to figure out social media for the youngins. I think that was really all I wanted to talk about. I don't know, I guess like other things I have coming up are, I'm gonna be putting out a form for ARC readers soon. That'll probably be the video after the unboxing next week. Yeah, just like a lot of marketing. And then I think I'm gonna put a call out to my friends and family to see who wants a book from me, because then I can make the full amount, if that makes sense. I think that's all my updates. I definitely have more updates coming next week during the unboxing, something that I am launching Friday. Still don't think this video is going to be up to par, to be honest with you, but I filmed it 3 times now and it is what it is. Brain is not braining. I have to pick up my kiddo soon. I have to take another kiddo to an appointment soon. I just need to get on with my day. I hope you found some piece of this helpful. I am happy to answer your questions. If you have any Ingram wide distribution questions, I'm happy to try and answer them. By no means am I an expert, but I am a Canadian who's navigating this, and I'm gonna be honest, I pretty much tried to do it like on my own. I didn't watch a bunch of videos about publishing through Ingram. I didn't watch really anyone talk about wide distribution. I just made the decision that that was what I was gonna do, and I sort of just followed along the Ingram website and what they said the steps were, and I went from there. So I probably have a very unbiased opinion because of that. I also probably don't know all the tips and tricks and secrets that other people might know. So I am happy for advice in my comments if you have any. So please go to Goodreads, it's linked down below, and add, there's a badge for that, to your shelves. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for bearing with me today, friends.